order on Tuesday, February 16th, 2021 at 7 p.m. via Zoom teleconference. The prayer will be offered by City Clerk Susan Lovering, and Alderman Karen will lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty to manage the affairs of our beloved city. Fill us, O God, with a spirit of unity and understanding, which enables us to face our multiple problems with a serene mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will always be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. So help us God. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As president of the Board of Aldermen, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, and in accordance with the governor's emergency order number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2020-4, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting, which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone, with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. To access Zoom, please refer to the agenda or the city's website for the meeting link. To join by phone, dial 1-929-205-6099. The meeting ID is 831-5616-7369. The passcode is 681020. The public may also view the meeting on Channel 16. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing the meeting through public postings. Instructions have also been provided on the City of Nashua's website at nashuanh.gov and publicly noticed at City Hall and the Nashua Public Library. If anyone has a problem accessing the meeting via phone or Channel 16, please call 603-821-2049 and they will help you connect. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting via the methods mentioned above, the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please also state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. Could I ask the clerk to please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien.
I am present. I can hear the proceedings and I am alone.
Alderman Clee.
I am here. I can hear the proceedings and I am alone.
Alderwoman Kelly.
She won't be joining us this evening. She's not feeling well.
Thank you. Alderman Dowd.
Yes, I'm present. I can hear everyone and I am here alone.
Alderman Karen.
I am here. I can hear everyone, and I am alone.
Alderman Clemmons.
I am here. I can hear everyone, and I am by myself.
Alderman Lopez. Alderman Tenza.
I'm present, I'm alone, and I can hear everyone.
Alderwoman Lou. Alderman Jettie. Alderman Schmidt.
I am present. I can hear everyone and I'm alone in the room.
Alderman Laws.
I'm here. I can hear you and I am alone.
Alderman Cleaver.
I'm present. I can hear everyone and I'm alone.
Alderman Harriet Gathright.
I am present. I can hear everyone. I'm in this room alone.
Alderman Wilshire.
I'm here and I can hear everyone and I am alone.
You have 11 in attendance.
Thank you. Also with us this evening is Mayor Donchis and Corporation Counsel Steve Bolton. Tonight is the Mayor's State of the City address, so I will recognize Mayor Donchis.
Well, thank you, Madam President. Good evening, President Wilshire, Vice President O'Brien, members of the Board of Aldermen, and all of those who are joining us for Nashua's first virtual State of the City address. The pandemic made 2020 a tough year, much different and more difficult than anyone expected when the year began. It has consumed the energy and attention of our country, of our state, and of our community. Many Nashua families have suffered, 76 with the tragic loss of a loved one. We mourn with those families. I think of Andre Pelletier, who worked for our Public Works Department and was one of our own. Andre was taken by COVID-19 last month. Andre plowed our streets and fixed our roads for 46 years. His sense of humor was appreciated by everyone. He was a Vietnam vet, a life cut short by the virus. Our thoughts and prayers are with Andre's family. In the face of our shared hardships, I am proud of the way Nashua has responded to the crisis. We have moved our city forward despite the virus. In fighting the pandemic, we've followed the science and worked with medical and public health experts on a fact-based approach. We enacted an early mask ordinance based upon what the science quickly established, that wearing masks reduces the spread of the virus. 2020 was a year of trials, but it brought out the best in Nashuans. Our nurses and doctors have cared for the stricken and provided comfort to families. People across the city, from first responders to grocery workers, have responded to the crisis. Nashuans have answered the call in many ways. Our public health department and public health nurses, under the leadership of Director Bobby Bagley and Chief Public Health Nurse Kim Bernard, have worked nonstop to contain the spread of COVID-19 and to keep us safe. 7 days a week, our nurses have helped patients who have tested positive to regain their health and recover. Through our weekly clinics, our public health department has tested thousands of people. And now our nurses are vaccinating hundreds of our city's residents, those who are most vulnerable. Emergency Management Director Justin Cates and his staff have been helping to direct the city's response from the beginning. Volunteers like school nurse Robin Abedili and federal judge Joe LaPlante have worked to trace the contacts of patients with COVID-19. That's an effective tool in limiting the spread of the virus. Mike Appleberg and United Way, Camille Pattison and Nashua Transit, our school department and food service workers, and many other volunteers have delivered 90,000 meals to kids in need. We all want to protect our family, our friends, and our community. We all want to open our economy and return to normal. But the medical researchers have been clear. And if we fail to follow their lead, there will even be worse consequences for our families and for our economy. We have a personal responsibility to slow the spread of the virus and eliminate the pandemic as quickly as possible. Therefore, we need to keep wearing our masks, practicing social distancing, and avoiding large gatherings. That's how we can reopen our economy sooner rather than later. Thank you to our 2,800 city employees who've been working hard despite the virus. Teachers, police officers, firefighters, DPW workers, City Hall staff. And a personal thank you to Cheryl Linder and the staff in the mayor's office for helping across the board during the pandemic. Very early on, we acted to help our small businesses, the lifeblood of our community. We assembled a $1.2 million COVID impact fund which enabled us to extend loans and grants to help save over 50 small businesses and nonprofits in our city. Restaurants, cafes, retailers, barbershops, yoga studios, and others. We will soon be able to assemble another $1.2 million in federal money to add to the COVID Impact Fund so that we can help more small businesses still being hurt by the pandemic. We also acted quickly to save our restaurants and the jobs of wait persons, bartenders, and chefs in their time of crisis. Despite concerns about traffic, we expanded outdoor dining on Main Street by closing one northbound and one southbound travel lane. Restaurants have been closed by the governor's emergency order on March 15th. To capture most of the season for the restaurants, we needed to do a lot of things quickly. Everybody pitched in. Economic Development Director Tim Cummings worked with Public Works Director Lisa Foto, City Engineer Dan Hudson, and small businesses to develop a plan. Community Development Director Sarah Marchant and the Board of Aldermen worked to pass the necessary legislation. By early May, we were ready to go. So we moved in the barriers and we crossed our fingers. The results were better than anyone expected. Nashvans started flocking to our restaurants to eat outdoors, and no real traffic congestion resulted. Michael Buckley, the owner of Surf and MT's Local, told us, "You may have saved many of us." The expanded outdoor dining not only saved small businesses, but it changed the vibe of downtown. More people, more activity, more life. And when the warmer weather returns, I want to continue expanded outdoor dining every year. Our small businesses have sacrificed a lot. I will always remember what this pandemic has cost them and cost the employees who have gone without. While we have overcome some of the challenges COVID-19 has brought, there will be more in the future. In the months ahead, we need to carefully monitor the learning loss that our students have suffered as a result of remote learning. Our resources are limited, but we need to devote every dollar we can to make up any loss in learning levels. Better skills mean a better life. We all want for our young people to look forward to a meaningful career and a rewarding family life. And to do so, they need to have the foundation of a strong education. I do want to take this moment to give a shout out to our teachers. Our teachers have had to work harder to teach kids via the internet. They have come up with new creative ways of engaging their students. I know it can be a struggle for some students and for the teachers themselves, but our school staff has stepped up to continue to encourage learning. The state of New Hampshire should be vaccinating our teachers right now in order to get our classrooms open as soon as possible. I have called upon the governor to move teachers up in priority so that we can get everyone back in the classrooms. I'm glad that yesterday, the school department began the process of bringing more students back to school. As we look to the eventual return of all of our students, we can look forward to new and improved facilities for our middle schoolers. We are in the midst of a major improvement of our middle school buildings, renovating fairgrounds and the Pennachuck schools, and starting on plans to replace the aging Elm Street School with a new school and campus on Buck Meadow Road. When these projects are done, Nashua will have the most state-of-the-art middle schools in New Hampshire, and they all will be generating more electricity than they use through solar power, and all will have advanced classroom technology. I want to thank Dr. Mosley for his service to Nashua. And I want to congratulate Dr. Garth McKinney on being selected as interim superintendent. With his knowledge of our schools, he will provide the continuity our district needs over the coming months. It is important tonight to discuss the serious financial challenges the city is facing right now. We have a perfect storm of 4 major financial challenges all coming at the same time. The pandemic, rising healthcare costs, the state's decision to raise Nashua's pension costs by $4.4 million, and a cut in state school aid of another $7.4 million. At exactly the worst time, the state of New Hampshire has slammed us with nearly $12 million in downshifted costs. Every time the state does something like this, your property taxes go up. The costs the state is downshifting this time amount to a 5.5% tax increase forced upon the hardworking taxpayers of Nashua, all without any involvement by us here in Nashua. We are working with our legislative delegation with other cities to help our taxpayers. I have testified before House and Senate committees over the past few weeks for and against a number of bills that would affect our budget. But the results of the legislative process are uncertain. And I'm thankful to our delegation and the other mayors for all of your efforts. Back when the state of New Hampshire lured Nashua and other New Hampshire cities and towns into the state pension system, they promised to pay 35% of our pension costs. The state broke that promise almost a decade ago and reduced their contribution to zero. So far, this has cost Nashua taxpayers a cumulative total of $74 million. Here's another example of the state raising your property taxes. For the past 10 years, the state has frozen the amount coming to cities and towns from the rooms and meals tax. The state hasn't paid to any of the communities the full 40% of the revenues that was promised when the rooms and meals tax was passed. This has cost Nashua taxpayers a total of another $34 million. While these financial challenges are coming from the state, we are also faced with local pressures in our own budget. 2 years ago, in the 2019 State of the City address, I raised a red flag about rising healthcare costs. Over the past 2 years, healthcare costs have risen dramatically, up over 20%, more than $6 million a year. We are taking aggressive steps to cut the rate of increase. We have developed a reformed HMO plan designed for city HMO healthcare benefits. This would result in significant savings for the city if adopted for all city employees. So far, this reformed healthcare plan has been agreed to by a number of employee unions. However, to most effectively reduce the rate of increase in healthcare costs, we need the support of the Board of Aldermen. The reformed HMO plan must be for every group of city employees. No exceptions, no exclusions. We are also encouraging employees to elect medical savings plans and to use Smart Shopper, both of which save money for the employee and for the city. By working together, the Board of Aldermen and I have accomplished a lot. Our response to the pandemic, full day kindergarten for all Nashua students, our ongoing paving plan of action, which has already paved 100 miles of the city's streets, the adoption and the accomplishment of greener Nashua energy goals, the successful addition of over 500 units of downtown and mill yard housing, expanded outdoor dining, and many other things. However, over the past couple of years, there has been one significant disagreement between the Board of Aldermen and myself, a difference over the controlling of costs. During this period of rapidly rising healthcare costs, I have advocated that we set priorities. I have said what the facts make clear. While facing major financial challenges, the city cannot make long-term commitments that exceed the cost of living year after year without raising taxes more than our taxpayers can afford. As a result, I have opposed 3 collective bargaining agreements and have vetoed 2. In January of this year, I vetoed a proposed contract for firefighters that granted 15.5% raises. At the end of 2019, I flagged a police supervisor's contract, which included 11 and 12% raises, and I vetoed a contract for civilians in the PD, which granted 11% raises. The Board of Aldermen passed all 3 contracts and voted to override both my vetoes. Independent commissions conduct fire and police negotiations. For the other negotiations over which the city's finance team and I have had more control, like in Public Works, in City Hall, and in the library, we have successfully negotiated collective bargaining agreements which are fair to both employees and taxpayers. Make no mistake about it, our firefighters and police work hard for our citizens, and I appreciate their contributions and the sacrifice they make for our city. All of our employees should be paid fairly. However, these increases in personnel costs are not sustainable. Now it appears that the hard choice between higher taxes and service cuts may be upon us. For the fiscal year 2022 budget, starting on July 1, the city's finance team projects that a tax increase of at least 7% will be needed to make up for the state's $11.8 million downshift and to pay for the budgets that we expect to get from the fire, police, and other departments. The hardworking taxpayers of Nashua cannot afford a 7% tax increase. The job of the mayor and aldermen is to achieve a balance between the need of Nashuans for quality services and a tax rate that is affordable. I will be submitting my fiscal year 2022 budget in early May. Because we've been hit by so much, and because many Nashua families are struggling during the pandemic, I have issued budget guidelines that would hold most departments to 0% increases over this year's budget. I hope that the Board of Aldermen and our independent commissions will help with the city's tax rate. Despite the pandemic, we are moving Nashua forward. Our paving plan of action has made a dramatic improvement in the condition of what were just a few years ago Nashua's crumbling streets. We have paved 100 miles, 1/3 of our city streets, including major streets like Amherst, Broad, Somerset Parkway, Main Dunstable Road, Kinsley Street, as well as many miles of neighborhood streets. We have crack sealed an additional 70 miles. Crack sealing is much cheaper than paving at about 10% of the cost per mile, and it can preserve a street for up to 5 more years. In addition to stronger infrastructure, we are building a stronger downtown economy. This will benefit everyone because properties in the central business district pay far more in taxes than they require in services. And these tax revenues help pay for schools and police and fire protection in all of our neighborhoods. We have added 500 units of downtown housing with more to come. The headquarters of Pennachuck Water is now back downtown in the Walnut Street Oval. We're doing the groundwork necessary to create a downtown dog park. Construction is starting on the Performing Arts Center. These steps are the underpinnings of an even stronger downtown economic resurgence. The Performing Arts Center, which you will see at the corner of Main and Pearl Streets next year, will benefit everyone. The project will attract private investment. It will build our tax base and increase city tax revenues. It will bring tens of thousands of people downtown for entertainment and to patronize our shops and restaurants. Even before it is opened, the Performing Arts Center has already been successful in attracting private dollars. We are working with housing developer Peter Floats to build 150 units of housing on School Street. This housing means more than $20 million in downtown private investment, and it will add $400,000 per year in tax revenue. This builder, who has worked successfully in Manchester, became interested in Nashua because the city was investing in the Performing Arts Center. Nelson Mercado, the entrepreneur owner of Made Men Barbershop on West Pearl Street, is opening a new business because of the Performing Arts Center. In a previously empty storefront across the street from the barbershop, an empanada restaurant called Empanelli's. As we see additional private investment in the future, the Performing Arts Center will pay for itself. Working together with Nashua's legislative delegation, we are making progress on commuter rail service for Nashua. The state of New Hampshire has hired engineering AECom to perform the required final planning phase of the Capital Corridor Rail project. This means that there could be a plan for commuter rail put forward by 2023. We are also working to take greater advantage of the Nashua River. When you think about it, we are a river city. Our city was founded because of the water power provided by the river, and the Nashua River is our city's namesake. Our plan for the riverfront started with a riverfront master plan and a tax increment financing district used to capture the new value being generated around the river, like from the Lofts 34 housing. Next is lighting on the Cotton Transfer Bridge coming this spring, with lighting along the Riverwalk coming soon thereafter. Elevated walkways like the one around Peddler's Daughter are being designed for the other three corners of Main Street, along with boat docking in an expanded and improved Renaissance Park. Just like we are reimagining our riverfront, we are always looking for innovative ways to improve city government and also to better serve the residents of Nashua. I am personally committed to an innovative culture in City Hall, and you are already receiving the benefits. The Public Works Department is helping to offset the increased costs of recycling by making an arrangement with Casella, a recycling contractor. The city is being paid $15 per ton from Casella to take crushed glass to use for cover material at the landfill. This innovation generates $100,000 per year. In the winter, Public Works has also begun brining or applying salt water to city streets before storms. This does a better job of keeping streets clean during snowstorms than applying rock salt after the storm begins. And it also saves money. At City Hall, the assessing and IT departments have put new assessing search and analysis tools on the city's website and have put many documents online. Nashua, as a result, has the most open, accountable, and transparent assessing department in New Hampshire. Thank you to Administrative Services Director Kim Kleiner and new Chief Assessor Rick Vincent for these improvements. Nashua is also doing our part in fighting global warming. Our city energy manager, Doria Brown, has stepped up the Green Action Plan. LED lights, solar panels installed on the Lake Street Fire Station, also on the transit garage, on Conway Arena, and on 3 schools, Dr. Crisp and Fairgrounds in Pennachuck. Converting our 2 high schools to LED lighting, hybrid buses. These projects are reducing the city's energy use and saving money. Since 2016, we have actually reduced our greenhouse gas emissions from public works vehicles and from Nashua Transit buses by 1,660 tons of carbon per year. That's down 40%. We are also working on a host of other energy-saving projects. As always, no matter how much we move our city forward, there will always be more work to do. We need more affordable housing. Housing demand is strong, and rents and the values of Nashua homes have risen dramatically in the last few years. But there are still many people in our community who are struggling to pay the rent or pay the mortgage. We've worked with a private developer to build 150 units of workforce housing on Marshall Street. And we are working with the Nashua Housing Authority to redevelop the Bronstein apartments to include 200 affordable units. The Housing Authority has been clear about one aspect of this project from the beginning. Although a temporary move will be required, all current Bronstein residents will be guaranteed to be able to return to Bronstein in a new and a better apartment. Alongside this need for more housing, we are seeing a rise in homelessness across New Hampshire. Mike Renke and the Nashua Soup Kitchen and Shelter are working with St. Patrick's Parish to convert the former St. Pat's School on Spring Street into housing for homeless individuals and families. Another great project is Infant Jesus and Family Promise working together to add transitional housing for families who are in need in the former Infant Jesus School on Crown Street. Family Promise is an established nonprofit that has had remarkable success in providing the support that families need to get themselves back on their feet. This last year has been difficult for everyone, but we will recover even stronger by continuing to work together in the ways that Nashuans always have. We are all neighbors and friends. We want our families to build meaningful lives with the health and safety we need and the individual freedom and the local control that we deserve. And we want our young people to have opportunities, the opportunities they need to build careers and families. If you have ideas about how we can make Nashua an even better place to live, you can get involved in Imagine Nashua, the citizen-led effort to create an updated master plan for our city. We have a lot of work to do. Overcoming the pandemic, improving our schools, building a stronger economy, fostering the downtown resurgence, and creating a greener Nashua. Let's get to it. God bless the great city of Nashua. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Madam President. I would like to make the motion that we adjourn by roll call.
Would the clerk please call the roll?
Alderman O'Brien,
Yes.
Alderman Clee,
Yes.
Alderman Dowd,
Yes.
Alderman Karen,
Yes.
Alderman Clemmons,
Yes.
Alderman Lopez, Alderman Tenza,
Yes.
Alderwoman Lou,
Yes.
Yes, and safety and conscious.
Alderman Jettie.
Yes.
Alderman Smith.
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Laws.
Yes.
Alderman Cleaver.
Yes.
Alderman
Now,
Harry
yes.
Gilbright.
Yes.
Alderman Wilshire.
Yes,
You have 13 yeas and 0 nays.
and that motion carries. We are adjourned. Geez, that was quick, at 7:36 PM. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.